professor once conducted a socialist experiment on his students. He started by quizzing them based on what they've already learned throughout the semester. One student spent her whole weekend studying. She worked her butt off and she got an A. She was so excited. Another student, well, he spent his weekend playing video games and watching Netflix, and he got an F. The next day, the professor came in and he made an announcement. From now on, we're going to be fair and compassionate, so I'm going to average out everyone's score so we're all on the same playing field. Everyone got a C for this quiz. Woo! The A student was obviously crushed by this news. Why would you want to work so hard and give up your entire weekend just to give your grade to someone else who didn't earn it? The F student, well, he was thrilled. He didn't have to do any work and got a better grade than he would have gotten. By the second quiz, the A student said, screw it, I worked my butt off and didn't get the grade I earned last time. Why am I going to do the same this time? So she worked less hard. And the F student, well, he studied even less because his grade's going to get raised up anyway. The result, the average score moved down to a D. And by the final exam, everyone failed. Here's the real gut punch. By the end of this course, no one felt compassionate. The A student was mad at the freeloader. The freeloader was mad at the system. This is the compassion trap. When you punish success to subsidize failure, you don't get equality. You get equal misery. Supporters of socialism say that we need experts and central planners to make the economy and system work fairly for everyone. But history shows that one chef cannot cook for the whole nation. I have a few examples that some of you might have heard, but they're very strong at showing why the socialist system is designed to fail. Take a simple pencil. If I told you to build me one from scratch, where would you even start? You'd need to harvest cedar from Oregon, but you're going to need a saw for that. To make that saw, you're going to need the iron ore from a mine that you never built. You need lead for that pencil, which is actually graphite from Sri Lanka mixed with clay from Mississippi and wax from Mexico. You need the eraser, which requires seed oil from Indonesia and pumice from Italy. Ultimately, not one person on Earth knows every single step that goes into making a pencil. The logger doesn't know how to mine graphite. The chemist doesn't know how to fell a tree. There is no mastermind at the top directing them. They cooperate due to the price signals. In a market, these people don't even have to like each other. They work together because of price signals and their incentives for profit. If rubber gets scarce, someone is incentivized to make a synthetic swap to make a profit. But under a centrally planned system like socialism, if a bureaucrat in a faraway office forgets just one step of the process, the whole factory line can come to a halt. You can think of the price signals and the market like the Gumball Jar experiment. If you ask one person to guess how many gumballs are in a jar, they will most certainly be wrong. But if you ask 100 people and average out their guesses, the market guess is almost perfect every time. Markets are a collective smarts system. Central planning is a bureaucratic guesstimation system. Think about the DMV. Do you really want your food, your tech, and your future ran like it? But what about the billionaires, you ask? Aren't they just hoarding all of the wealth? For Elon Musk, wealth is equity. It's fuel. It's the factories and rockets that he's building. He is forced to keep innovating because all of his wealth is tied up in his companies. And if his company stops solving problems, his wealth will evaporate. We need the profit incentive because it gives the crazy people a reason to change the world. I mean, after all, why would anyone spend 10 years in a garage tinkering and failing again and again if the government is just going to average out your win? This brings us to resource allocation. Think of capital like seeds. In a market, the most seeds end up going to the farmer who has proven he can grow the biggest crop. That's not greed. That's making sure the world doesn't starve. Taking resources from the productive and giving it to the unproductive is not compassion. It's sabotage. You're literally eating the seeds of the future to pay for the mistakes of today. Is capitalism perfect? No. It's messy, it's loud, and it can be cold. But as Argentina's president Javier Milei told the world at Davos, Capitalism is the only solution. Look at the data. Since the 1800s, free market capitalism has raised 90% of the world out of extreme poverty. In 1949, China was locked in a socialist famine. They flipped from socialism to markets, and 800 million people were yanked out of poverty. Argentina followed the social justice path for over 100 years and went from one of the richest countries in the world to a country that had over 200% inflation. In just 1 year, Milei leaned towards capitalism, which slashed the bloat, achieved a fiscal surplus for the first time in 14 years, and pulverized inflation. He proved that the West's drift towards collectivism isn't progress. It's a virus that leads straight to poverty. Socialism sells you a feeling. It feels good to say that no one should fail, but feelings don't build iPhones and they don't cure diseases. Real compassion is building a system where a kid in a village has a smartphone and a chance to win. Stop chasing the feels good that tanks our future and choose the grind that raises the standard for everyone. Subscribe if this video resonates with you and drop a comment below telling me why if it doesn't. I'll reply to every single one. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.